What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You know it is your man Jelani JB Bodie, but I'm here to talk about free agency. I guess unofficial, official free agency in the NFL that went down here March 9th. And as usual, the NFL is crazy. Everybody's getting deals. Obviously, they're not official until the season start, and all these people being released and so forth. But my phone has been going crazy all day. Let's just say that. So I just want to touch base on some moves that some teams made, and I'll get into some of the individual, stories as well. But I want to touch on the first team. There are four teams, and I'm going to do this just a little bit differently because it's just been crazy. Something may come across while I'm talking about it as we speak, but I want to start with the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys, I told I told my compadres, I told them, I'm not a Dallas fan, as you know, but I told them that Dallas was going to be a team that I think people should be on the lookout for because on the offensive side, they're good. They're good. It was the defensive side that was the issue, and I really felt that they were going to put a focal point on the defensive side. So they did that today with one getting Rashawn Gary, let me say that right, from the Green Bay Packers for a fourth round draft pick. That's going to help out. They're teaming him up with his old teammate that got traded for Michael Parsons before. So you got a nice nucleus there, but then they didn't stop there, and they went and they got Jalen Thompson at the safety spot because I think Trayvon Diggs is probably not going to be on the team. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right on that. But Dallas is addressing what they need to address, and that was on the defensive side and slowing teams down. Dak and them boys is going to be able to put up points. They got Javante. They kept him. They re-signed him. They tagged George. They'll probably get a deal done there. You got CD. You got Dak. I think you got what you need on that offensive side of the ball. Maybe some other things, but what they needed to do was handle the defensive side. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think that they're done. I see at least 2 to 3 more moves for the Dallas Cowboys that they're going to address on that defensive side. And I've already said, and I hate to say this, it brings me no joy of saying this, but I think the Dallas Cowboys got a really good chance of winning the NFC East this year. All right, we'll talk about that later. I don't want to, harp on that too long. But watch out for the Cowboys is all I'm saying. A team that I'm like, come on, bro. Are you really kidding me? Do they continue to have such great, not luck, but great fortune for them? They have a billionaire singer in Taylor Swift. They have a multi Super Bowl winning quarterback in Pat Mahomes. You got a tight end in Travis Kelce who can ball on the field and he balls off on the podcast. Does it need to get any better? And it does. Well, they get now the reigning Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker, on that backfield. And this is the problem that the Kansas City Chiefs had last year. We all seen it. They didn't have anything that was just solidified. They didn't have anything that they could just go to and depend on day in, day out, game in, game out in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, close out a game. And they got that in Kenneth Walker. And I'm happy too that Kenneth got his money. Did he get his money? He got his money, ladies and gentlemen. So kudos. I think this is, and I know people are going to start talking about Tyreek and all this stuff. And if that happens, then I'll be back to talk about it. But we're not going to talk about that right now. But the running game, Kenneth Walker is going to change the running game and what the Kansas City Chiefs are going to do going into the season. I know Pat is not, playing at the beginning of the season, but Andy Reid is smart enough to put in a game plan to where they can hold it down until Pat gets back. And this is one of the first moves that they did in getting Kenneth Walker. So that right there, I was just like, I didn't think Kansas City. I really thought that Kenneth would end up somewhere else other than Kansas City, but Chiefs fans are happy. Let me just say that. Chiefs fans are happy. Uh, Other fans, the Los Angeles Rams. They went, and we know just previously they traded for it was Trent McDuffie. I want to make sure I be saying these names right. Trent McDuffie signed him, but then they end up getting his homeboy Jalen Watson, also from Kansas City. We saw how Seattle was able to move the ball on the Rams in the NFC Championship game. That's what this move is about. We've seen some other hiccups that the Rams have had in certain games, and they are all in. And we all know Les Snead said F them picks and all that stuff. We're gonna get the person that we want, but we're gonna sign the people that we want up front. They're good to go. Obviously, on the offense side, nothing to talk about, there. But on those corner spots, and then also, where they're gonna address, those safety areas. The Los Angeles Rams are looking scary on paper before the season start with those two corners that they're adding. Because here's the thing with why I said let's need talking about F those picks. A lot of guys that they've gotten that has become key contributors are not guys that they got in the first round, second round, some of them maybe not even third round. So they have done very good drafting. They have done very good development to where that they can make these moves. So getting these corners from the Kansas City Chiefs and Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie, that's going to be a scary look. But that's also a good move, that free agency move on it. The last one that I got before I talk about, some individual transactions that happened is the New York Jets. I want to talk about them really quick, is because their thing was this team didn't have any interceptions. We all know that. They didn't have any interceptions. You needed to do something on the defensive side of the ball. They go and get a key veteran linebacker in Demario Davis from the New Orleans Saints. That guy has been a constant professional, great leader. He's going to bring that culture that he had in New Orleans to the Jets, and I'm sure Aaron Glenn is going to love that. Then they went and they got Minkah Fitzpatrick. Not too bad of a guy, right? This guy ball hawk, and he can do multiple things. He can, he can play in the box. He can, play deep, and yeah, you just went and got Minkah Fitzpatrick. One of the best corners. I mean, best secondary players out there. So they did that. They also went up front with David Onyemata. He was here in the ATL. If people don't know, I'm in Atlanta right now. But at the D tackle spot. So today they have just basically said we are going to revamp and get this defense right, which I understand that. Aaron Glenn comes from the defensive side. That's what he did in Detroit as a D coordinator. Get that right, and then they're going to focus, on the offensive side at some point. But you can't go a whole season without no interceptions. So good moves for the New York Jets. Now, some real quick items that individual ones that was out there. Malik Willis to the Miami Dolphins, that had been talked about. So that's no surprise. I knew he was going to go somewhere, and as it got closer, the Miami Dolphins was the place that he would land. And I want to mention to people, because people are talking about Malik Willis, and maybe they're talking about, it's a real small sample size, and when he came out in the draft, everything didn't go well. Well, things happen, sometimes for a reason. And I just want you to remember, there are guys that have come out of Green Bay, because remember, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, pretty much 40 years has been covered by these two individuals. But there have been some backup quarterbacks that have played for Green Bay, have went on to play other places and do well. Matt Hasselbeck is one of them to speak about. He started for Seattle, got them to the Super Bowl. So Green Bay does do. I mean, let's just talk about Aaron Rodgers real quick. So Brett Favre was playing. Aaron Rodgers was sitting there. They developed him. He was ready to go. Then Aaron Rodgers, he's sitting there. Then Jordan Love comes, they develop him, he's ready to go. So I think, this is maybe what we're looking at with someone like Malik Willis is that he's been there. He's gotten to develop. We've seen that in other places with other quarterbacks where they go to other places and they develop and they get time to really figure this thing out. So I don't think this is just a shot in the dark or anything like this. I think this is a strategic plan for a guy in Malik Willis, and he's going to get the opportunity. He had it, before in Tennessee, but I think now he's probably ready for it more than ever. So that one sticks out. I was talking about Atlanta and Tua coming to Atlanta. He's going to get signed. He's taking the vet minimum because I guess he got a lot of money. I think that Miami still owe him that they're going to pay him. So you don't have to, deal with how much money and all this stuff. So he's going to get the vet minimum, but you got two lefties now. And I think you don't have to rush Penix back because it seems like Penix is still going to be the guy. But I'm going to say, be careful, though. Be careful. I wouldn't sit here and just think that Tua is going to be a backup. If you do that, we've seen what has happened before. If Michael is not ready, then whatever time that you need, I think it's an open. Let me just say this: I think it's an open competition, unless the Falcons really just come out and say Michael is our guy. But I don't think they're going to do that because Kevin Stefanski hasn't been here since Michael got drafted. So I think it's going to be an open competition. And Tua probably sees an opportunity to do some things. He's looking at Bijan Robinson. He's looking at Drake London. He's looking at that at Kyle Pitts and and everything. So he got his eye on starting. Let me just say that I don't think he's coming to Atlanta to be on the bench or to be a backup. He's going to push to try and be a starter. So that's my thought. Now there's a whole bunch of other things that transpire, but we'll get into that at some other point a little bit later, and I will cover all of that and then this whatever else that happens in the NFL that's going on. But I'll be talking about the NBA as well, so don't miss that. Make sure like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications, man. Follow your boy, and I'll let y'all later.